Welcome to the deep dive. We are tackling something pretty huge today. Artificial intelligence.
AI.
AI, yeah.
It's everywhere these days, right?
It really is. I mean, it feels like it's the next internet, right?
Yeah.
Like back in the 90s when the internet really started to hit, it wasn't just about the tech itself. It was about how it was going to completely change everything.
It changes how we think about everything, yeah.
Yeah.
How we do everything.
Yeah, especially us, I think. And that's what we're going to dive into today. AI and the social sciences.
Yeah. And it's not just about, some algorithm telling you what to watch on Netflix.
Right. It's much bigger.
It's bigger than that. It's becoming a really important tool and subject across the board. I mean, we're talking like sociology, policy, psychology, economics, psych, anthropology, communication studies, education.
Yeah. So consider this your crash course, your shortcut to figuring out what this big change actually means.
Yeah.
Yeah. So in this deep dive, we really want to unpack all the different ways AI is being used across these fields. We're going to look at the main techniques, the companies that are really driving this, how AI is factoring into politics.
And where it's all going.
Yeah, where it's all headed. It's a lot. So for you, dear listener, what this means is we're going to help you understand how AI is totally remaking these fields. So you'll be able to recognize the big trends, the tools, the implications, all that, without getting lost in all the techie jargon. Hopefully.
Yeah, we'll try to keep it clear.
Exactly. Let's start with sociology then. Let's unpack this a little bit. How are sociologists engaging with AI?
Okay. So sociology and AI, it's kind of a two-way street, a two-pronged thing. First, AI is a subject that sociologists are really interested in studying. They're looking at these AI socio-technical systems. Basically, it's how AI tech and the social world mix and what impact that has on things like inequality, how power structures are shifting, all of that. And second, AI is this crazy, powerful tool that sociologists are using for their own research. It's opening up so many new possibilities.
So, powerful tool. What does that look like in practice? Could you give me an example?
Yeah, so think about all the information we create every single day. It's overwhelming, right? Well, AI can handle that. It lets sociologists look at these giant data sets of everyday life. Like, let's say you want to understand potential security threats in schools, like if firearms are present. AI algorithms can actually sift through visual data and find those things.
That's intense.
It is. It's like having this zoomed out view of society where you can see patterns that would be impossible to spot otherwise.
Wow. So it's not just about identifying threats, right? I remember reading about using AI to understand really abstract, complex social ideas.
Exactly. AI can get into those nuanced social things that are hard to pin down, like the moral judgments we make about people's weight, the cultural stuff that goes along with social class, even how gender stereotypes have evolved over time. And they do this by analyzing huge amounts of text and images, really digging into the cultural data.
That's mind-blowing. It's like using a microscope on the fabric of society. And I imagine sociologists are also looking at how AI is changing society as a whole.
Oh, absolutely. They're looking at the impact of AI on labor markets, how automation's changing jobs, then there's surveillance, online communities, political polarization, all that stuff that's happening online. And then healthcare, criminal justice, even welfare programs. AI is in the mix everywhere.
So it's covering everything. Now, one thing that really stood out to me was AI generating images. How's that being used in sociology?
Okay, this is where it gets really cool. AI can generate images from text. Tools like DALL-E, Midjourney, things like that. It's a completely new way for sociologists to explore stuff, even in teaching.
Text becomes a picture.
Yeah.
So how does that play out in, say, a sociology classroom?
Well, imagine typing in a prompt like, I don't know, a successful CEO, and then boom, you get an image. So it sparks these conversations about stereotypes, like what does the AI picture look like? Does it reflect any biases? And then you talk about the opportunities, the threats, all that. It really makes you think about visual culture in a different way.
I bet. And it's not just static images, right?
Yep.
There was something about analyzing online behavior using AI and images that was really interesting.
Right. So you can actually use AI to look at how people act online, like in online protests. You can track visuals, narratives, all of that. And here's the mind-blowing part. AI can even simulate human responses. So sociologists could test their theories by creating AI agents that act like people in these fake online worlds.
Wow, that's like social experiments on steroids.
Kinda, yeah. So sociology is both studying AI itself and using it as a tool. It's this back and forth thing that's really exciting. And in terms of the big players,
Yeah, who's making this happen?
so for image generation, you've got Google, OpenAI with DALL-E, Midjourney, Stability AI. They're doing some really cutting edge stuff. And then for more specific sociology applications, there's Minecraft. It's an AI learning tool designed for sociology students and researchers. It's pretty cool.
Okay. Let's switch gears to political science. It sounds like AI is having a pretty significant impact on politics.
Yeah, huge impact. It's changing how we analyze elections, how campaigns are run, how policies are made, even governance itself. It's like a whole new set of tools for understanding and doing politics.
Let's start with elections. How is AI being used to understand or even predict election results?
Predictive analytics is a big one. So AI can look at tons of data, demographics, what people are saying on social media, economic factors, you name it. And then it can say, okay, based on all this, this is who's likely to win. And it can even tell campaigns where to focus their resources to be most effective.
So it's like taking all the guesswork out of campaigning.
Kind of, yeah. And that leads into personalized campaigns. They're getting so sophisticated now. By analyzing all that voter data, AI can help craft messages that are super specific to different groups of people. It's like getting a custom-made message just for you.
That's scary and powerful.
It is. And then you've got this whole problem with misinformation, right? So people are developing AI fact-checking tools to try to combat that.
That sounds crucial, especially these days.
It is. So there are tools like originality.ai that are trying to do this, and the Oxford Internet Institute is working on it too. It's still developing, but it has a lot of potential.
So lots of moving parts in the political world. How about within the actual workings of government?
Governments are looking at AI to make things run smoother, especially bureaucracies. You know, how to deliver services more efficiently, how to communicate better with citizens, how to prioritize things. It's all about using AI to, in theory, make government more responsive and efficient.
Okay, so AI for a better government, in theory.
Yeah, that's the hope. And it's not just about efficiency. They're also using AI to monitor what's happening online, social media, forums, news, to see what issues are popping up and what people are feeling about them. It's like having a finger on the pulse of public opinion.
So they're trying to be more in touch with the people.
Yeah, that's the idea. And then you've got sentiment analysis tools. Those can tell governments how people feel about certain policies, which can be helpful in figuring out what to do. And even election security. AI can be used to detect fraud and look for any weird stuff in voting patterns.
And I'm sure everyone's interacted with those government AI chatbots by now.
Yeah, those are becoming really common. They're like little virtual assistants that can answer basic questions and help you navigate government services. It's all about making things easier and more accessible for people.
So lots of ways AI is being used in government. How about in political science research itself?
Yeah, AI is shaking things up there too. It can help researchers with all sorts of things. Like, it can help narrow down research questions, speed up literature reviews by going through tons of articles, analyze huge data sets, even help design experiments. It's like having a super-powered research assistant.
That's wild. With all this AI in politics, are there any potential problems we should be thinking about?
Definitely. When you can target messages so precisely, there's always the risk of manipulation. Like, are we just going to get stuck in these echo chambers where everyone's just hearing what they already agree with? And then there's the whole problem of AI being used to spread misinformation, which is really hard to combat. Those deepfakes are getting crazy good, and it's tough to keep up with.
Yeah, it's a whole new world of information warfare.
It is. And then there's the question of algorithmic bias. Like, if the data that trains the AI is biased, then the AI will be biased too, right? And that can lead to unfair, discriminatory outcomes.
Right, so it's not a magic solution.
No, definitely not. And then, there's the privacy issue. If governments and campaigns are collecting all this data on us, how are they using it? And is that okay? It's something to think about.
A lot to think about. So who are the big players in this AI and politics space?
Well, there's Battleground AI. They do AI-driven advertising for campaigns. And then there are platforms like Nextdoor and Temper, which are using AI for community messaging and stuff. But honestly, AI is everywhere in politics now. I mean, you can find it in pretty much every part of the process. Digital Defined actually has a good overview of all the different ways AI is being used in politics, if you want to learn more.
Okay, let's move on to economics. AI seems like a natural fit for the economy, given how much data there is to analyze.
Oh, it's a match made in heaven. AI is totally changing how we do economics. Forecasting, market analysis, resource allocation, financial modeling, it's all getting an AI upgrade.
So what does that look like in practice? Can you give me some concrete examples?
Yeah, take global supply chains, for instance. Those things are super complex, right? Well, AI can optimize them by analyzing real-time data from every step of the process, from production to shipping to delivery. And because AI can handle so much data, it can often spot those little patterns and correlations that humans miss, which leads to much more accurate predictions.
So it's giving economists a crystal ball, basically.
Kind of, yeah. Predictive analytics powered by AI is a game changer. And it's not just about broad economic trends. It can also predict things like stock market movements, which is pretty amazing. It's analyzing everything. Market data, global news, even how people are spending their money. It's crazy.
That's some serious forecasting power. What about more traditional economic activities like manufacturing and agriculture?
AI is having a huge impact there too, especially in resource allocation. Like, imagine you're a farmer trying to figure out how much water to use, or a factory trying to decide how much product to make. AI can analyze all sorts of factors and help them make the best decision, which means more efficiency and less waste.
So it's helping them to be smarter with their resources.
Exactly. And even the way prices are set is changing. Dynamic pricing, where prices change in real time based on demand and other factors. That's all driven by AI, especially online, in travel, hospitality, e-commerce. It's happening everywhere.
It sounds like AI is becoming essential for making good economic decisions.
It is. And it can even simulate different economic scenarios.
Oh,
So let's say a government is thinking about a new policy. AI can model how that policy might play out and what the potential impacts could be. It's pretty helpful for planning.
that makes a lot of sense. What about the labor market? How's AI affecting that?
AI is giving us a whole new way to understand the job market. It can analyze trends, figure out what skills are in demand, and help businesses plan for their future workforce needs. And get this, AI can even gauge how people are feeling about the economy by looking at news and social media. So if everyone's freaking out about a recession, AI can pick up on that.
That's pretty incredible. So AI is basically everywhere in economics.
Pretty much. And even how we measure economic success is changing. There's this growing emphasis on computational energy use. Basically, how much energy does it take to do a certain amount of economic activity? It's all about efficiency in the age of AI.
So who are the big names in this AI and economics world?
It's a big field. You've got tons of companies in finance, retail, e-commerce, all using AI in some way. And there are AI assistants, like Anthropic's Claude, that are being used for economic analysis. Digital Define has a good overview of all the different ways AI is being used in economics, if you're interested.
Now let's talk about psychology. That seems like a tricky field for AI, given how complex the human mind is.
You're right, the human mind is incredibly complex. But AI is offering some amazing tools for psychology in terms of diagnosis, research, and even delivering mental health care.
Diagnosis seems like a sensitive area for AI to be involved in.
It is. But AI has the potential to make diagnosis faster, more accurate, and more accessible. The key here is machine learning. Basically, you feed a computer a ton of data, brain scans, symptoms, you name it, and it learns to recognize patterns. So it can often pick up on subtle signs that a human might miss.
So it's like having an extra set of eyes or maybe even a superpowered brain to help with diagnosis.
Exactly. And these AI systems can be personalized. So the assessment you get is tailored to you based on your responses, and even data from things like wearable tech. It's like having a custom-made diagnosis.
What about using AI for research in psychology?
AI is speeding things up there too. Like, it can analyze huge data sets in a fraction of the time it would take a human. It can also simulate human behavior, which is really helpful for testing theories. And then there's natural language processing, or NLP. That's where AI can understand and analyze human language, which is great for things like studying therapy sessions or looking at how people talk about their mental health online.
I see. And how's AI being used to actually deliver mental health care? There's a huge shortage of therapists right now.
Yeah, and AI might be part of the solution. Like, imagine having an AI chatbot that you can talk to anytime you need support, or AI-powered programs that guide you through self-help exercises. These things aren't meant to replace therapists, but they can make care more accessible, especially for people who can't afford traditional therapy or live in areas where there aren't enough therapists.
That sounds like a really promising application. Which companies are leading the way in using AI for psychology?
There are a bunch. Talkspace, Ginger, they're now part of Headspace, Lyra Health, Wobot. They all offer different types of AI-powered mental health care. And if you want a list of companies in this area, you can check out Golden, BCC Research Blog, AIM Research, Robotics Biz. They all have resources on this.
Let's switch gears now to anthropology. How is AI impacting the study of human societies and cultures? It seems like a field that relies heavily on qualitative research.
You'd think so, right? But AI is actually finding its way into anthropology in some really interesting ways. It's being used as both a research tool and a subject of study itself. Anthropologists are asking, how does AI fit into our understanding of culture? How is it changing how we interact with each other? How is it shaping our values?
So it's raising some really big questions.
It is. And in terms of how anthropologists are using AI as a tool, well, it can help with things like analyzing field notes, which can be super time consuming. It can help us compare cultures more easily. And computer vision is being used to identify and analyze artifacts, which is pretty cool. It's like having a digital archaeologist.
I remember reading something about forensic anthropology using AI.
Yeah, that's a really powerful application. Forensic anthropologists use AI to help identify human remains. Like if there's been a disaster or something. They use deep neural networks, which is a fancy way of saying AI that's really good at recognizing patterns, to analyze things like X-rays and speed up the identification process.
That's amazing. So AI is actually helping to solve real-world problems in anthropology.
Absolutely. And anthropologists are also looking at how AI itself is a cultural product. Who's creating it? What values are baked into it? How is it being used in different cultures? It's a whole new area of a study that's really important.
I see. It's about understanding the human side of AI.
Exactly. And AI is also helping anthropologists analyze huge data sets and identify patterns in cultural data, which is something that would have been impossible before. It's having a big impact on all branches of anthropology: archaeology, biological anthropology, linguistic anthropology. It's even helping with things like translating endangered languages and reconstructing ancient texts.
Wow. So AI is a pretty versatile tool for anthropologists.
It is. And it's helping to bridge the gap between quantitative and qualitative research, which is something that's always been a bit of a challenge in anthropology. Like, how do you combine hard data with those more nuanced interpretive approaches? AI might be the key.
Are there any companies or organizations that are particularly active in the anthropology and AI space?
Yeah, there are a few. TechViz, they have this platform called Anthropos.ai, which uses AI to understand consumer behavior from an anthropological perspective. And Lux Research, they offer what they call predictive anthropology services. Basically, they use AI to predict future trends by analyzing cultural data. It's pretty cool.
Okay, let's talk about communication studies. AI must be having a huge impact on how we communicate, given how much of our communication happens online now.
Though it's a game changer, AI tools are transforming everything: strategic communication, how we monitor the media, sentiment analysis, figuring out how people feel about things based on what they say, even crisis management. It's all about using AI to communicate more effectively and understand how messages are being received.
So how is AI actually being used in these different areas of communication?
Well, AI can help us analyze massive amounts of data about how people are communicating. Like, what are they saying on social media? What are the big news stories? What are people's opinions on different issues? This helps communication professionals tailor their messages more effectively and target specific audiences. AI can also help us track how messages are spreading and identify potential problems early on, which is crucial for crisis management. And then there's the whole area of AI-generated content, which is just starting to take off. It's pretty wild.
Yeah, I writing our tweets and press releases. That's kind of scary.
Yeah, it can be, but it can also be really helpful. Like, imagine you're a small business owner and you don't have the resources to hire a full-time PR person. AI can help you create basic content, track your social media, and even respond to customer inquiries.
I see. So it can level the playing field a bit.
Exactly. And it's not just about automating things. AI can also help us understand how communication works on a deeper level. Like, how do different cultures communicate? How do emotions influence how we interpret messages? This is where things like sentiment analysis come in. It can tell us not just what people are saying, but how they feel about it.
I was really intrigued by the idea of using generative AI for communication research.
Yeah, that's a really exciting area. It's basically using AI to create new content, like speeches, articles, even social media posts. And it can be tailored to specific audiences and contexts. So you could have AI generate a message that's specifically designed to resonate with a certain demographic, or a message that's optimized for a particular social media platform. It's still early days, but it has a lot of potential.
It sounds like it could be a really powerful tool for persuasion.
It could, and it's also being used for things like creating realistic chatbots that can have conversations with people. This could be really helpful for things like customer service or even therapy.
Which companies are leading the way in AI for communication?
Sprinkler is a big one. They offer a whole suite of AI-powered tools for social media management, sentiment analysis, and more. Lexalytics and Brandwatch are also big players in the sentiment analysis space. And there are tons of smaller startups that are doing really innovative things.
Okay, last but not least, let's talk about education research. How is AI changing the way we learn and teach?
Oh, it's a huge area of growth. AI is being used to personalize learning, create adaptive assessments, automate grading, identify learning patterns. It's transforming the whole educational landscape.
Let's start with personalized learning. How is AI making that a reality?
So imagine a classroom where every student gets a learning experience that's tailored to their individual needs and learning style. That's the promise of personalized learning, and AI is making it possible. AI can track how students are doing, identify their strengths and weaknesses, and recommend content and activities that are just right for them. It can also provide immediate feedback and adjust the difficulty level as needed. It's like having a personal tutor for every student.
That sounds amazing. And what about assessments? I know teachers spend a lot of time grading.
AI can help with that too. AI-powered assessment tools can grade things like multiple choice questions and even some types of essays, freeing up teachers' time for more important things. And these assessments can be adaptive, which means they adjust the difficulty level based on how the student is doing. So if a student is struggling, the assessment will get easier, and if they're doing well, it will get harder. This helps ensure that every student is appropriately challenged.
So it's not just about making things easier, it's about making them more effective.
Exactly. And AI can also help identify learning patterns that might not be obvious to human teachers. Like maybe a student is consistently struggling with a certain type of problem, or maybe they're excelling in one area but falling behind in another. AI can spot these patterns and alert the teacher, who can then provide targeted support.
And how about the teachers themselves? How is AI helping them?
AI can automate a lot of the administrative tasks that teachers have to deal with, like grading, scheduling, and communicating with parents. This frees up more time for teachers to focus on teaching and interacting with their students. There are also AI-powered platforms that can help teachers create engaging lessons, find relevant resources, and connect with other educators.
So it's like giving teachers a whole new set of tools.
It is, and it's not just about making things easier for teachers, it's also about improving the quality of education. By personalizing learning and providing more targeted support, AI has the potential to help every student reach their full potential.
Which companies are leading the charge in AI for education?
There are a lot of great companies out there. Squirrel AI, Carnegie Learning, Dreambox Learning, they're all doing some really innovative things. And then there are companies like OpenAI, which are developing more general-purpose AI tools that can be used for education, among other things.
Well, we've covered a lot of ground today. It's clear that AI is having a profound impact on the social sciences.
Yeah, it's transforming the way we study ourselves and our societies, and we're just scratching the surface. There's so much more to come.
So for our listeners who are feeling a bit overwhelmed, what are the key takeaways? What do they really need to know about AI and the social sciences?
The main thing is that AI is becoming an indispensable tool for social science research. It's helping us analyze data, test theories, and understand complex social phenomena in ways that were never before possible. It's also raising important ethical and societal questions that we need to be thinking about carefully.
Right, it's not just about the technology itself, it's about how we use it.
Exactly. And the other thing to remember is that AI is still in its early stages. It's evolving rapidly, and we're only just beginning to understand its full potential. So it's important to stay informed and be part of the conversation about how AI is shaping our world.
Okay, so we've talked about how AI is changing sociology, political science, economics, psychology, anthropology, communication studies, and education research. What are the main techniques being used across all these fields?
So there are a few core AI techniques that are really driving this revolution. One is natural language processing, or NLP, which is all about teaching computers to understand human language. This is crucial for things like analyzing text data, creating chatbots, and doing sentiment analysis.
Yeah, we've talked about that a lot today.
Right, because it's so important. Another key technique is machine learning. This is where algorithms learn from data without explicit programming, which is really powerful for things like prediction and classification.
So machine learning is basically AI that can teach itself.
Kind of, yeah. And then there's computer vision, which enables computers to see and interpret images and videos. This is crucial for things like analyzing visual data, identifying objects, and even creating art.
And what about network analysis? We touched on that earlier.
Yeah, network analysis is all about using math and AI to study relationships and connections within networks, like social networks or the internet. It's really helpful for understanding how things spread, how communities form, and how information flows.
So these are like the building blocks of AI for the social sciences.
Exactly, and they're being used in all sorts of creative and innovative ways.
Well, this has been an incredible deep dive. Thanks so much for sharing your expertise.
It's been my pleasure.
And for you, our listener, we hope this has given you a better understanding of how AI is transforming the social sciences. It's a complex and rapidly changing field, but it's one that we all need to be aware of because it's having a profound impact on our lives.
It's affecting everything.
Yeah. And as AI keeps evolving, these impacts are only going to get bigger. So it's important to stay informed and engage with these issues.
Absolutely. Ask questions, be critical, and think about how you want AI to be used in your own life and in society as a whole.
Here's something to ponder. If AI can model and analyze human behavior, what does that mean for how we understand ourselves? And how might it change how we organize our societies in the future? It's a lot to think about.
It is, but it's exciting too. AI has the potential to unlock so much knowledge about ourselves and the world around us. We just have to be careful to use it wisely.
Thanks for joining us for this deep dive into AI and the social sciences.
Thanks for having me.
We'll see you next time.